Hello! Hello! Wait, are we cooking? We're cooking, I think. We're getting started a little bit early here today as I wanted to make sure everything was running. I haven't streamed in a little bit here, but everything seems to be set up. I am freaking stoked. All right, so today we are continuing the Stream Pro raid train. And if you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, raid-train.com. We have a whole bunch of the best of stream educators here. Of course my chat widget on OBS is not logged in. That's going to be really annoying. All right, I'll just pop it in. There's always something. In the meantime, I'll pop it in here. Basically, a bunch of us, the best of the best, stream educators are just kind of doing back-to-back streams today. So we've already had Mr. Greggles and Andy. I don't remember who else is gone. Gail is going right now before me. So he will be raiding into me, and then after my stream, we will be raiding into Crash. We have some giveaways to give away. Nutty already went. Yes. I am going to try to get logged in here to my Twitch dashboard in OBS. I will have a couple giveaways. We've got a couple Elgato Stream Deck Neos I'm going to give away. We have a year license, I believe, to Atom that we can give away. And I've got a coupon for you all as well, I believe, on that front. I honestly, this is the one thing I did not set up ahead of time. I've not done a giveaway in a stream in a very long time, so I don't know what I'm going to use for it, but I got to collect some of your information when I do to pass along to my Elgato contact, so we'll probably figure out how Stream Elements handles it or whatnot. All right, we are signed into Twitch in OBS here, so that will make life a lot easier. Like I said, we're getting started here early. My official start time is not until 3 o'clock, but I wanted to get everything set up and, ready to go here. I will give you a teaser of what we're doing today. Okay. And actually, if we want to get real funky, whoa. So basically 1.5 hours early. No, I am 30 minutes early. I start in 30 minutes. Turbo has been around for a while. That's pretty good. What's up, Fazoo? Well, yeah, I had some cool graphics going. We've been planning this stream event for a while, and it has been it was my plan to build up graphics for everybody to use, because I've got some cool graphics. In fact, I didn't even set up my stinger, so I'll do that real quick. I've got a cool stinger transition. My plan was to distribute these to everybody if they wanted them, to go along with the theme and everything that Finite Singularity was doing for the promotions, and I wound up not finishing any of it. So I do apologize, but I had some cool stuff going. So like right now, I'll just transition back to the intro. Like I didn't even finish the transitions for anything. I just went straight to... I just rendered out what I had this morning and was just like, whatever. We got it. Time zones are fake. They were invented by Big Clock to sell more time. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have VODs up on YouTube. Mine will probably be a little delayed because I'll probably just edit it down and make it like a formal video for next week, because frankly, since I'm doing this today, I'm hosting D&D on Sunday. I do not have time for a video for next week yet. So, but got a couple cool graphics set up. Just thought it'd be neat. Obviously, they're just going to obliterate Twitch's bitrate here. I am streaming with Twitch Enhanced Broadcasting again. I didn't even look at my settings before I went live. I should have probably done that. Yeah, we're on auto for everything. So I have Enhanced Broadcasting going. So we've got, you know, all the experimental streams. I'm pushing 11-ish megabits total to Twitch, so it doesn't look like they've increased that too much yet. But it's funny, this feed right now uses up about 25 to 30 megabits per second for my recording bandwidth, but when I switch to the you know, crazy graphics, it jumps up to like 130. It's crazy. Do you have any hands-on with the new 4K 240 hertz OLEDs? I wish. I've been pushing Asus to try to get my hands on them. I'm pretty sure it will happen at some point, but I'm not there yet. Honestly, I'm in this weird place. I can't stand, well, I don't know if I can't stand is the right word, but like, I don't like doing monitor reviews. I have taken in a couple monitors over time, and I just never reviewed them. It just doesn't work out. There's so much granularity to reviewing. Cujo with the resub. Also, Hunter subbed earlier. Thank you. 28 months. Holy cow. There's so much granularity and like pickiness you have to do with monitor reviews with regards to like really evaluating it. And I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to my reviews to make sure that I am actually, you know, doing a good job and offering value with a review that I struggle with monitors. For me, it's just about what it can do for me when I'm playing, like, or working. Like, that's why I covered my LG CX OLED, the ultra-wide OLED, and that one I sat on for months, and just thank you, T, for the tier 1. Thank you so much. Already rocking in the subs before the train even starts. Like, I sat on that ultra-wide OLED, the Alienware one, for like 6 months, and then finally covered it at our end of the year video, where I was just like, all right, this is my favorite tech of the year. But like, I didn't do a formal review on it because there's just so much to it. And like, over time I develop and that's the big thing, is with monitor reviews within a standard review cycle, which is like, you maybe spend a couple weeks, maybe a month with it. Like, the real complaints I have about things don't come up for a monitor of all things, don't come up in that short amount of time. So it's really hard, and that makes it hard to then get samples. Like, I love playing with new toys and getting things set up, and obviously I love my monitors. I've got a 32-inch OLED up here, a 48-inch OLED TV here, and then 2 other monitors and whatever. Like, I love my screens, but I don't want to, I'm kind of reaching the point where I don't want to to take in review samples for certain things anymore. I just want to do projects or like practical coverage. Like my camera review I just did was one thing, because it was just like, I have spent 2 years with this camera. I can really feel out what is good and bad about it in my workflow. And there wasn't a whole lot of reviews about it. But a monitor, a computer, most cameras, like, I want my coverage to be, here's what I do with it, and here's how it helps my workflow. And with a monitor, like, I'm not going to get that for a few months. Like, whether I feel out if I'm going to stick with it, what my complaints are. Like with the Alienware OLED as an example, since it's the most recent screen I've covered, I'm pretty sure. My positivity is all there. Like, it's the best looking display I have ever used in my life. And it will probably stay that way for a long time. Obviously, my LG CX is lovely as well, but like, it is one of the best looking displays I have used in my entire life. From the finish on the screen to the OLED nature, the contrast, the HDR performance. I know people complain about like the peak brightness of OLEDs or whatever, but like in HDR, when I get flashbanged in a auto HDR game versus a proper one, and it's just like full white, like, that is brighter than I ever want a screen to be. Even with a big window next to me in the house and stuff like that. But like to me, it is basically perfect. But I do have little nitpicky complaints, like the way they adjust to try to compensate for burn-in by moving the picture around, I find pretty distracting. I don't like curved displays in general, so I don't like that about it. the breathing that the monitor does, because it has a fan in there. Even when I'm just doing nothing, I will notice it like starting to breathe. And for the longest time, I would catch myself. I'm like, wow, I'm mouth breathing really heavily all of a sudden. And I'd stop. And then I'd realize the sound is still there. It's because it's the monitor breathing, not me. So that's kind of distracting. You don't really notice it if you have sound going or whatever. Auto dimming on LG panels is super aggressive. I'm not a huge fan of... I didn't have that problem in Windows as much, as confusing as that is. Over on Mac, yeah, like it is constantly auto dimming, which is kind of distracting. 28 months from the Herman! Thank you. Little things like that really start to bug me. I can't stand on the Alienware the pixel refresh and panel refresh things that it has. Like, it constantly pops up. It's constantly turning off my display whenever it goes to sleep, I guess because it automatically does some of it. But then the other version of the refresh, like, it just sits a pop-up on my screen and is super annoying, and it wants it all the time because I'm using it as a monitor. Like, I have Wallpaper Engine for moving backgrounds and for video screensavers to keep it moving so it's not just a taskbar getting burned in, but like little things like that I wouldn't know within a month or so. And same thing like with any other monitor. Like, a 4K 240 hertz panel is going to require me to really evaluate what games I can run at it. And then you have things like VRR performance to really feel that out and feel if it's worth the higher refresh rate is going to take some time. All of the OLED related compensation things we just talked about, like so much of that crops up. Now, the Alienware I still love. I stand by my recommendation, and it's even cheaper now. Like, if you can afford it, it's the best dang monitor you're going to see for a long time. Although I don't like ultra-wide just in general, so there's that. But like, I don't see the point of reviewing it in that aspect, but I also don't want to commit to eventually getting around and making a video on something when I don't know if I'll get to it. I just played my PS5 on 120 hertz OLED TV, and that had some fancy AI features, and for some reason FF16 feels so much smoother on it. Could be pixel response times, the variable refresh rate. There's a lot you can get faster feeling, even if your game isn't running that fast. This Monoprice 4K is starting to be not so great. Dude, Monoprice were my first high-end monitors. We used to have the store, it's called Bargain Hunt, that used to just have like Amazon and whatever like returns, and they'd get all of those and put them out, and they used to have so many cool electronics. But like all of these stores that start as like a budget, like here's the return shelf kind of store, they wind up just having their own cheap e-waste products instead of the returns, and it becomes not fun anymore. But for the first couple years, I got a Monoprice 1440p monitor. That was my first 1440p monitor, and it was how I recorded my very first OBS multi-platform videos in 1440p. It was DVI only, and it was awesome. And then they later had a Monoprice 4K one that I picked up that I still have. It's in the shed. I don't know if it still works. It's going to be my shed monitor if it does. It was garbage, but like for a 4K monitor, it worked. DisplayPort only, didn't have HDMI 2.0, obviously. The 1440p one was interesting because the bezels on the on it were so huge, and it had a spot where clearly like a webcam was meant to be, but there wasn't one. It was super weird. But yeah, they had some weird stuff back in the day. Really excited to see the flat 4K 240 Hz that can also do 1080p 480 Hz. Yes, I am super stoked for that because that gets a lot closer to CRT modes. Like, I'd love displays that are format agnostic again, where it's like, yeah, you can crank up the resolution if you don't mind the frame rate dropping and the pixel, the dot pitch not being perfectly lined up, or you can decrease the resolution and get higher refresh rates. Like, we absolutely need to get back to that point. And it's been bizarre to see that the panels themselves, for the most part, can support that. It's the controllers and stuff that they never really developed long enough. So just upgrade to a Panasonic Orbital and then never need another upgrade again. What the heck is that? I want to see that. Panasonic Orbital. Oh, the flying saucer TV. Haha! Yes, I approve. That thing's weird. Anyway. Alright, everything seems to be running smoothly. I'm pretty stoked. I want to upgrade my monitors, but after the bad experience with the Neo G9, I'm afraid to change. Did you have a bad experience? I thought it was just too big. And you, like, got it for free. What's up, soldier? Alright, everything seems to be running. We've got the control panel set up. I don't have anything on this top monitor. Maybe I should, you can't see it, but maybe I should pull up something for me to have visible. I gotta be a pro streamer guy. Hey guys, every pro streamer has like 20 screens, one panel on each screen, and they never look at any of it. My favorite setups are the streamers that have like 20 screens so they can monitor all their multi-streaming chat, and then they never respond to chat. It's my favorite. Anyway, I'm being unfairly snarky, perhaps. So how's your day been so far? Pretty all right. Couldn't sleep much last night, so slept in a little bit, and then we are cleaning up the house because we're hosting D&D on Sunday. So gotta clean, do some spring cleaning. New project for the CRT wall, one chat per CRT. I'd have to zoom in enough. Like, in order to zoom in enough to really be able to read it, it'd have to be like basically one chat message per CRT. I still want one of those 16 by 18 panels. Yeah, I'd love that as a side monitor. Honestly, I need to slim down the CRT, not the CRT wall itself, but the glitch art setup, because it's just trying to figure out all the routing on my big Extron matrix is just turning into a nightmare. So I need to just have the computer output go to my big Panasonic mixer. This is all over there. You can't really see it. Have the PC output to my Panasonic mixer. Have that run to a couple glitch pieces, and then the matrix to go to the CRT wall, and then just turn off, like unplug the rest and just use it. Like, you know, swap out things instead of just... I want to have everything hooked up all at once. Like, my ADHD brain is like, I must have everything in front of me ready to go for when I want to use it, but then it becomes too overwhelming to use. But if I put something in a box or like a pile, I'm just never going to use it. So it's this weird teleport or NDI, which is better. It depends on what you want. If you just want a simple way to get your audio and video from one OBS instance to another, teleport. If you're worried about the best quality, the most flexibility and features and whatever else, NDI. Because teleport is just JPEG, so... But also if you're doing like 1440p or 4K over NDI, teleport or the NDI HX stuff in the NDI apps is the way to go. That's my big issue. I really wish someone would take over and update the NDI plugins for OBS, because you can't use HX in OBS right now. And if you don't know, NDI HX is them basically integrating GPU encoding into NDI. So it's just using H.264, H.265. And so it's a lot lower bandwidth. Like right now, I cannot send my 4K feed, even at 30 FPS, from this computer over to my glitch art setup, which was how I was... Because typically all the analog stuff that we're going to show today is run through... The chat window did die. That's weird. What's going on, Stream Elements? Oh, no, it's still going. It's just very far behind. Or it, like, stopped for a second. That was weird. Anyway, all the analog stuff I'm going to show today is run through a whole separate computer. And I was just going to NDI back and forth, but because I'm using... Because I was going to send my camera, but because it's on a 4K canvas, I don't have the bandwidth to send it over there. I'm on a 10 gig, but, like, it doesn't always work. At full speed, and so I was getting like 2 frames per second over there, so I had to move everything over here to show you all what I'm doing. Do Twitch panels even still show up? Like, I don't even know where I'd edit them at this point. Stream. Channel. Oh, my Discord link is broken. That's cool. Yep. EposVox.gg/Discord. We'll change that one. Brand. Nope. Schedule featured content. Nope. Stream events. Where the hell is this? It's on the stream page or the about page? I do not see an about page. Maybe if I just go to my channel page in a new tab. We'll try that. Nope. Oh. Let me know if my music's too loud, by the way. I can't hear it right now. Oh, God. Yeah, that computer... All right, edit panels. We gonna edit this real quick. We got a couple minutes. See you later, Slightly Flighty one. I mean, at this point, I guess I'll just change it to streaming system because I don't do my editing on there anymore. It's about to be updated, I think. I don't even know. What are my specs in this system? I don't even know at this point. We are on a 12900K. Okay. Intel Core i9 12900K. We've got 64 gigabytes of RAM. I don't even know who made it. We've got NVIDIA RTX 4090. We are in a random ass case that I'm not going to highlight. Some sort of Asus motherboard, so I'm not going to highlight it. Asus or Elgato 4KX consoles. We've got AverMedia Cap 4K for camera. Audio gear, mic. Currently, I mean, this changes all the time. Earthworks, Ethos, because y'all know I love me some Earthworks. Rodecaster Duo. Y'all don't need to know my headphones. I hate this stuff. We are using a Panasonic GH5S today. I don't give a crap if y'all know what gaming gear I'm running on. Production system specs is just... Oh my god, this is annoying to edit. This is so outdated. They don't ever, like, update this. M2 Ultra Max Studio. Easy peasy. Alright, there, it's updated. None of these other links are probably updated, but you know what? That's okay. Actually, no, most of them are looking okay. I don't know why I'd have Facebook on there, so I'm going to remove that. YouTube. Rules that don't matter. That Discord link is broken. We'll update that one. Cool. Alright. That's probably fine. Alright. We are ready. About 5 minutes till presumably we get raided. I had basically a CRT wall in my bedroom for a while, but I'm dismantling it because I'm moving my CRTs to their forever homes in different rooms of my place. I mean, that's fine. As long as you're not trashing them. Should be wary of Nightbot, not weary of Nightbot. Is that what it says? Dude, I have no idea when I wrote these. These Twitch panels are like 8 years old. I guess not 8 years old if they had the Red Ripper in there, but you know, they're old. I don't even have Nightbot in the chat. I'm just gonna delete it. Like, I don't even think Nightbot's in here right now. We have human moderators because we support humans doing work and not robots in this chat. I have no clue when I wrote this. Share your progress towards meeting plus program requirement with your community as a goal. Why do I need gamified program? I'm gonna not say what I think about that new program because a lot of streamers disagree with me and I don't feel like fighting about it right now. Okay. Anyway. What's up, Goose Town? Hit the 60-40 cut. Yeah. Like I said. Not my thing. Shows up next to the about section. It's cool that you can have that level of transparency, I guess. Yeah, I use Stream Elements for the chat overlay. At some point, I'm moving everything over to StreamerBot, but I stream so infrequently that I would spend... What's up, Gale Level? What's up? I stream so infrequently at the moment that I would spend way more time translating everything than I would streaming. I'm gonna try to change my white balance, but it's not gonna cooperate. All right, I guess we're ready. Are you ready to receive the plebs? Yes, I am. Let's do this. I'm ready. Raid! The raid train continues! All aboard the raid train! Thank you, Gail. Hope you had an amazing stream. Can't wait to watch everyone's VODs. Hello! And welcome. I just realized I should probably pull up my Twitch dashboard somewhere here. There we go. That works. Hello, hello! Welcome! Getting the raid out the door as OBS froze up. That is unfortunate. That is hilarious. Welcome aboard, everybody. That looked bright. Yeah, that was a Google Doc. Alright. I'm confused. Where's the raid? It's right here. I showed the true OBS experience. Yes, it's exactly how it goes. All right, we're going to open up. We have a first-time chatter question before we dive into the real meaty content of today's stream. From Brent Toro here. I do wish there were better tools to highlight chat messages in your stream. No one has really developed this. There's a couple for YouTube, but no one's really made this. I just need a chat widget that I view like my normal Twitch one, and then I click on a chat message and have a button that says feature, and it gives me a customizable, so I can change the graphics how I look, chat pop up on screen. StreamerBot should have something like that. Anyway, Hi, I want to record my Sony ZV-E10 at 4K 30 via Camlink and my Yamaha keyboard at 1080p30 cheap USB capture card. What settings should I use in Source Record? If you're recording both of them, I mean, just do HEVC in whatever your graphics card encoder is. CQP of like 18. Super easy, especially with an NVMe drive. Like, shouldn't be difficult. Most GPUs will support that. You are good to go. Anyway, yeah. Andy Lippy made one. Andy! Whoops. I need to figure that out. I am behind on things. Like I said, I don't stream a whole lot. Today, we are taking the wonderful nature of HD streaming and 4K streaming and Twitch enhanced broadcasting, and we're throwing it back to the analog days. Today, I'm going to be showing you a couple different ways you can give your stream the old school analog vibes using both real hardware and some amazing plugins and features and things like that. To you know, really get the vibes going. How many screens do you need? All of them. All of the screens. This isn't even all of the screens in this place. I have like a wall of them over there, a wall back there. It's fine. All right. Couple questions here. Fazu, I believe you did a video on this a while back, but what plugin program do you use for showing cursor and mouse clicks in OBS? You are a fine owner of my OBS definitive guide course over at glitch.mov. There is a whole tutorial episode or two in the case study for that. There's a couple lovely plugins and scripts for OBS that you can do it. I don't have them on hand, but they are covered in that OBS course episode, and I highlighted them in a public video excerpt from that course on the channel. Actually, I can pull that up real quick. Videos. It wasn't that long ago. Yeah. This one has the older tools. There's a couple newer ones mentioned in the comments that I think I also mentioned in the course. But there you go. You have a video showing how to control your stream audio using GoXLR. At this point, not really. I mean, you have faders on it. You just move them. If you want to route each individual device into OBS, you can't control it with the GoXLR. You have to use the submixes provided by the GoXLR. Twitch literally had a third-party developer make one, and it was really cool. And then they stopped supporting it. That's amazing. Timing is actually insane. It's 12:33 a.m. here in Mumbai, India. Wow. All right. You should probably get some sleep at some point. Yeah, you have an RTX 3070. You're good. HEVC encoding. You're good to go. Blizz with the 5 gifted subs. Thank you. Thank you so much. We are off to a great start here. Someone's asking about my chat overlay. This is actually my own commissioned stream overlay from Nerd or Die. It is EposVox.gg/nerd or die. You can use EposVox to save 10%. The specific layout is called StreamOS. You will notice a very familiar face and familiar older setup in the trailer for it. But yeah, I was like, I want a dope Windows 95, 98 era overlay. And they put it together and even customized one for me, and then I've been customizing it further. I still gotta fix the chat overlay. It doesn't actually match the rest of my Windows theme here, but that's fine. I like the mix and match kind of hacker look from the movies. By the way, I was searching for a video on CQP. I've not made a video exclusively on that. I do have a series planned at some point for just like going over like those individual basic topics. But basically, it's CQP is just a quality profile. So it is like you, instead of bit rates and worrying about what bit rate will look best, you just target a specific quality. Whereas 0 is lossless and 60 is garbage tier and 14 is visually lossless. That kind of thing. Someone recognize the Netscape icon? I've got my boxed copy of Netscape Navigator. This was my favorite browser back in the day. It has turned into Firefox, but I keep this around. I want to get it signed by like old devs or something at some point. That was my favorite browser back in the day. I had to pick up a box copy when I saw it sealed at some point. All right, so today we are going to go to the analog realm. First, I'm going to walk you through my method for doing this with physical hardware. Because we've got my live feed here on a CRT. I should have planned out my microphone positioning better. I love going down on my microphone. There we go. That's probably a little bit better. Hopefully you can still hear me fine. I loved Netscape until it became a suite of stuff. Absolutely. RuneScape Navigator greater than Netscape but I'm going to show you my way for doing it with real hardware. And then we are also going to walk through tons of cool effects and plugins and stuff that we can do it in software, because you can do it both ways. And frankly, doing it in hardware, especially if you do it with the like attention to quality that I do with a lot of things, honestly doesn't always look as convincing. It depends on what you're interested in. Now back here behind this stuff, this is a dope tube headphone amp I haven't really gotten use out of yet. I have my stack of VCRs. So I've got a VHS DVD combo, and this is S-Video VHS. I've got a high 8 deck, and then I've got this Panasonic DVD burner, which just acts as a time-based corrector, which I have a whole glitch art course coming on the art channel where I will explain a lot of this stuff. But I keep this at my desk because I do like actual VHS archiving, ripping, that kind of stuff. If you've seen No Clips Project, where they've archived a bunch of like, this is too low, where they've archived a bunch of game trailers and E3 conferences and stuff, like that is the stuff I am addicted to. So I'm trying to do it in the best quality possible, on top of the fact that I love shooting on like high 8 tapes and whatever. And so I want to be able to easily rip it to use in my videos. You don't need all of this. The basics for what you're going to need today, I have a Google Doc ready that I will share with you. It is literally like 4 things, so don't stress too much, but I'm gonna link it in the chat here. You only need really a couple things. Thank you for the tier 1 sub, Barbecue, with your $119 Netscape Navigator on eBay. So I have a CRT set up so we can demonstrate the effects. You don't even need one to do these effects if you don't want to just look at it on an authentic display here. This one is a CRT in Spanish for some reason. But you will need a couple things. You will need a way to get your digital signal into the analog realm. So what I typically use is this guy right here. This is the Blackmagic Intensity Shuttle. This was my first 1080p 60 capable capture card. I've had this since like 2010-ish, I want to say. It has component, composite, and S-Video, as well as HDMI input and output, and it connects through USB 3. This was a nightmare back in the early days because I was using old AMD hardware, and the USB drivers back on older AMD hardware were an absolute nightmare. These days, they're a lot better. But these days, it's a good, when you can find it for like $100 or less, a good option that you can use what's called the DeckLink driver from Blackmagic to get your video out of OBS. OBS actually ships with uses the DeckLink driver when you install Blackmagic's drivers. So I'm going to show you what I have set up here. So over here, I have a portable version of OBS run, and then I have virtual cammed my primary webcam view here out to this second version of OBS. This OBS is set up to run at 640 by 480 at 60 FPS, because that is standard def, and you will need to set it to 480 for the DeckLink to output analog properly. So 5994 frames per second, 640 by 480. So we're set up with the standard 480p view, and I've just cropped in on my camera here. But then, once you've installed the Blackmagic drivers, Tools, DeckLink Output, I'm able to choose the device and send it over standard definition out the composite output of the capture card. And that gives me this view. I need to turn off that stinger. And so that gives me an analog video feed just directly over composite. You could do S-video, you could do component, you can do whatever, but if we're going for quality degradation, you're going to not want the best quality capture. So we have a composite video source going straight to the CRT in all of its destroyed glory. Now, for those of us in Europe, would you have to use PAL settings? Yes. So you'd want 576 or whatever, probably. The driver will let you choose here. If I pull up actually, desktop. If I pull up the driver software here, I can choose the formats for the different outputs. And I can kind of like customize that. And so PAL is supported. So you just set that up in the driver and you'd be fine in PAL regions. So you will be covered if you're over there in Europe land. You're good to go. It won't be a problem. So then that gives you an analog video feed output. If you don't want to mess with this, I will say this is my favorite way using any of the Blackmagic cards. Blackmagic Intensity Pro, Intensity Shuttle, even some of the newer stuff. You will have a really good time playing with this Decklink output driver to do all sorts of stuff. It works magic in Touch Designer if you want to get into generative graphics, there's a few other softwares like that. It is a fun driver to play with that you don't have to worry about using up your display limitations in your normal graphics card driver or whatever. If you don't want to mess with that, then what you can do is you can just get a pretty standard HDMI to RCA adapter. And this will be low quality, but again, we're not after the highest quality at the moment. You can get one of these bad boys and just really cheaply over USB power convert an HDMI port from your graphics card over to composite, and then you just like projector preview or whatever from OBS to it. You could send game consoles this way, Blu-ray players, whatever. This is the cheaper way to go for sure. It's like $10. Quality will not be great. The control you have will not be great. But if you're looking for the cheap, easy way to do it, I highly recommend it. Another good option if you already have a Mister is Mr. Cast. I really need to play with Mr. Cast. So that's step one, is getting your video out through analog. Step two would then be capturing it back. So you could either run it to a VCR and like burn it to a VHS tape and capture it back, but then you can't get real-time effects. The other way is to just loop it back through another capture option. Now, theoretically, you could just go end to end in this intensity card and probably capture the same feedback. I like doing it separate because that can cause some kind of funky issues. So again, you can get one of those cheapo RCA to HDMI cables, and you'll need a couple RCA cables to go with it. But it looks identical, it just goes the other direction. So, composite back in, HDMI back out to a capture card, and capture it. Now again, you can run it through different VCRs, you can run it through different analog processing gear. I have my whole glitch art set up for that again, I cover on the art channel, which is called Analog Dreams, if you want to check that out. But that is the basic setup. Now, I'm extra, and I live in this land, so I'm using a device called the RetroTink 4K to upscale my video, and this is how I get like the best quality analog rips. And so I've just turned it on with the remote here, and we will switch to the scene for it. I gotta switch inputs and all of that. There we go. Oh, we got sound. I'm gonna mute that. There we go. So here, we've now upscaled it back to 4K in 60 FPS. Now, I'm only running at 30, but you get the idea. And so we get some of that lower quality crunch, but we've now scaled it back up. And this can be a lot of fun if you are running through more damaged gear or you want certain profiles. And in the RetroTink, we can do all sorts of like effects and things like that. Like here, I have some like masking we can do. There we go. I have like a CRT mask, which is not going to compress super well, but you can play with it to kind of emulate being on a CRT. there's a lot we can do there. Now, another option, if you don't want the whole convolution of going back out from OBS into the analog, back from the analog into OBS and all of that, is you can just... I just knocked a lot of stuff down. You can just get yourself an analog camcorder. There are tons of handy cams available on eBay. Super, super, super cheap. And they're all going to have live view, S-video, and RCA out. So this is a baller cinema camera that records high 8 because I'm currently experimenting with this and I'm stupid extra. But this has the same idea in that I'm just going to run composite out here into my setup, and we'll just swap cables. And now I've got this crazy analog setup where I can like show you around my studio. With a million times optical zoom. And have like a truly authentic analog webcam experience. Hi. Like this is legit as it gets. And we can even do feedback loops. Pointing it at the display. It's gonna get kind of funky. But you get the idea. So you could just spend... Please stay. You could just spend like $40 on a handy cam and just cheaply convert it up to HDMI, and you've got that go. I have a YouTube short and TikTok about doing this as well. So those are some options available to you. I'll switch my cables back here. What about overheating? These things do not overheat. That's a Sony mirrorless problem. That's not a standard def problem. I watch too many horror movies. Yeah! We get some Salem... no, what was it? You know what I'm talking about. Brain. That movie. Yeah, there's lots of them. Found footage movies. Blair Witch. My brain shutting down. Anyway. So that's how you can do it with the physical realm. And like I said, there's a whole world of like analog processing and glitch effects that you can do. That I actually have a glitch art course, free, tutorial series, coming on the art channel that I plan on releasing soon. I've been scripting it for like 2 years. I'm finally getting around to it. But that's it. It's pretty simple. It is a lot of fun. And you can get some cool effects by just like pointing your camera at the screen and shooting it that way as like your source. Like Shindigs has definitely highlighted a couple channels that have set up their entire stream overlay by just having a stack of CRTs, which is something really cool. You gotta really fine tune your camera settings to make that happen. But that's the general idea. And you get some really cool authentic effects. Like if I zoom in real quick here. Whoa. Like that's pretty cool. Whoa. Do 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 do. I don't know what I'm doing. You get the idea. There is a lot of realm that you can conquer. Yeah, DIY recursion without needing the Excedra plugin. Lots of cool stuff you can do there. And that's the lo-fi way of introducing more analog stuff into your setup. You can keep it 4:3 like I did here. You can crop in on it and just accept like the wider field of view. Make sure you're scaling with area so you get the sharpest pixels. That kind of stuff. There is a lot you can unlock when you're willing to use older gear. Also, if you're not streaming, if you're just... I'll switch back so we're not out of sync, but if you're just making videos, look on eBay, pick up some old digicams, like, you know, old digicams that shoot a little bit of video, or like a flip video camera. Get you some native 4x3 old school videos recorded. Dirtying up your video, whether it's analog or not, it doesn't need to, I mean, those are digital, not analog, but you know, whether it's an old school look or just a more creative look, I definitely recommend finding some ways to be a little more creative than just aiming for the cleanest and the nicest possible looks, because people get bored of that so easily. Party Epos emote win. Yes. Enjoyed your honest review for the Elgato Nano, the Neo products? Yeah. So again, I have links to some stuff you can use in the Google Doc. I do want to get stuff set up. We can give away a couple Elgato Stream Deck Neos, which is like my favorite Stream Deck now, by the way. I say that and I'm not actually using it at this moment, but it's definitely now my favorite Stream Deck that I recommend anyone get to start with. I'm going to see if Stream Elements has a good giveaway thing. I have not run a giveaway on stream in a while. I meant to set that up during our pre-show, and we got distracted doing other stuff, as always. But we got that. We got a year license to Atom software, which is pretty sick. Go ahead, pull this up while you all get whatever questions you have. We're gonna do some crazy plugin effects too. I want to show you some really cool stuff there too as well. (2D Epos win). VTuber stuff is still in the works. I do have some experiments I want to mess with that. Absolutely. Giveaways. Alright, giveaway description. Raid train never coming back. 2 Stream Deck Neos and years up to Atom. I don't need an image. Ticket cost? I'm not charging. 0. 1. Create and start. I have no clue. Tickets purchased. I have no clue what you need tickets for. Is this gonna work? Oh. Does this work? I don't think the command is working. Oh, no, it's working. Your numbers are pouring in. Okay. So I'm going to let this run the whole stream. We will pick a winner towards the end. So do enter or Elgato Neo and Atom giveaway. Exclamation point ticket 1 to enter. And I will pin. Of course you can't pin from the OBS doc. Pin. There we go. You can type /pin message. Look here, Slashy. You're not supposed to know so much stuff, okay? All right. It is working. I can see all of you all getting in there. So I will reach out through a Twitch whisper. So be open for that. Because I will need for Elgato some stuff. For Atom, I just need your email. But I'm just going to let that roll the whole stream. And we will talk about the software features. Because I'm pretty stoked for that. I'm always open to you whispering. Yeah. I'm gonna take a drink real quick. All right. So another way you can start bringing some of this old school vibes into your stream is obviously through software effects, as long as they're careless whispers. So as an example, I have here this lovely MySpace Space Hey style layout, which automatically just kind of invokes some of those vibes. This is a blend of a real Space Hey layout created in CSS and HTML, and then photoshopped kind of things to fit them around and make them fit bigger. And then the little scrolly cat and the GIFs are all added in OBS. And so you can get a lot of fun with that kind of stuff. And I love this. Like, this just feels like the dream layout. My goal with this kind of layout is to get where it has the latest blog posts right there. To have that be my activity feed and just automatically update with the same font and everything. Tired of Discord, return to Skype. Yes. And then like contacting EposVox, instead of just having add to friends and whatever, just have it be like my socials or something like that. And then at some point I'd probably replace the Space Hey logo and branding with just a play on MySpace and Space Hey that isn't actually real, just to be brand safe or whatever. But we got the blinkies, we got the scrolling mouse cursor, we got some scan lines going, and we got a live chat that looks close enough to the rest of the layout. That is not too difficult to do, especially if you just go through Space Hey and get like pre-made layouts, zoom in really, really big in your web browser, and then copy paste, a screenshot into Photoshop and crop out however you want, replace some of the text. Like, this kind of thing is easy. But what if you want your sources to look a little bit more degraded? Well, that we can do. So I am going to pull this view up. So this is going to have our webcam so you can see what we can do with it. And then we can turn on, you know, some old analog vibes with some filters. And we're also going to take a look at the retro effects plugin from Finite Singularity, because that dude has made my dream video effects. So it's in the Google Doc if you're unaware of it. Finite Singularity, new plugin dev on the horizon for OBS, has been making some wonderful stuff. And in that is a new beta plugin called Retro Effects, where I've gotten to work with them to suggest a bunch of different effects that I wanted to see, both for real life streaming, but also my videos, and for, I think a lot of it would be really neat for VTubing. And so you can download that off GitHub. It is still in beta, but we are going to add a filter to our webcam source here. And yes, Finite Singularity is who we owe this entire raid train to. Not giving enough credit here. Absolutely. Organized this whole thing. Amazing dude. We're going to add a new filter, Retro Effects. And this has a few different effects all built in here. So if you want multiples, you will have to just keep stacking the effect. But my favorite, of course, Chromatic Aberration, which is just RGB separation. So you can either do it with like distortion here, or if you go into manual, we can Like, for example, set up the blue a little bit and then get the angle going for it. And we can get that old school kind of trippy vibe going on. What are we voting on? Nothing. We are giveaway, pinned message. So we can do that. We've got frame skipping, which is to simulate lower frame rates, which could be used for a lot of things. And so you just got like a slider of how many frames to skip. But that could be used to simulate poor decode, lower performance. If I wanted to just showcase on stream what like 120 FPS versus 60 FPS versus 30 FPS looked like for the same content. Or it can be combined with some other stuff for some cool effects. My biggest request for this plugin was the interlacing simulator, which allows you to simulate combing artifacts from not properly de-interlacing your video. So as I move around, oh, is it? When you're in 4K video, you got to make them like super chunky. Like simulate the combing artifacts from not properly de-interlacing video, which obviously only shows in motion, just like it would in proper like interlaced video. So if you really want to get that going, I'm just realizing I do have it. Okay, there's a way we're going to use this that's going to look amazing. And I definitely think that's going to be really cool for what I plan to do for VTubing. There's a typical posterize effect, which is nice. Got different levels for that. You can also gradient map colors. So, you know, we could do the usual cool effects you could do with there. You can start making some glitch art just by combining these effects. You've got dithering that you can do. Start making it look like a FMV movie. Does start to get kind of gritty looking, like a grid, not gritty. But you do have options for that. There is a CRT emulator, which this one is really cool. So you got a bunch of different, like basically like on the RetroTink, you have a bunch of different CRT masks you can kind of simulate here. So we've got like just glowy, we've got start to get scan lines going. Kind of slot mask looking one here with the vertical lines. Like there is a bunch of different options you can kind of simulate here that look really nice. A lot better than the shaders I've seen. And then you've got intensity for them. So you can kind of control how it impacts your feed. I'll crank that up so I can see to get the one I wanted, which was that one. Dial that back down. And obviously it's not going to compress super well. And then of course you get bloom for it, which is amazing. I always love a good bloom shader. Threshold for what actually blooms out, which is nice, so I can add a little glow to it. And then you actually have geometry control to round off your CRT. And barrel distortion. Color correction tools, so you can really fine tune this. Like this is hardcore. You don't get a lot of this kind of stuff in a lot of stuff. But then we could make a new scene real quick here. So hold on. Like you could properly emulate a CRT. So I am going to build, I know this is blank, bear with me. I'm going to build a stream pack with VHS related stuff to give out at some point. So be on the lookout for that. But then we could do like actually embed it in like CRT graphics and stuff. And this could be useful not just for your camera, not for just special effects, but for making your retro game streams look a lot like they actually looked when you're playing them or something. So we can, you know, probably zoom in on that a little bit. But yeah, now I'm talking to you from a CRT and from a CRT. Right? And then we could go further with this by adding on, so if I go back here, like there are scanline shaders. So if I go to user defined shader, from file, scanline. I don't know why it defaults to diagonal. Oh, wait, just 90. Like, boom. And you can customize them more from there, but where's my new scene? Where's my new scene I just made? OBS? Hello? Oh, there it is. Right? Right? Like, we're getting there. I'm sure it's not compressing super well. Y'all can see it in the 4K VOD a little bit easier. But, like... had a question from Cujo. Dumb question from a dumb mod. Would it use less processing power to use these plugins versus placing a second camera at the CRT behind you? Yeah, just capturing it would absolutely use less processing power. But there's a lot more involved in that, obviously. So we can do that. We can continue this. So if I turn off that shader, there are more effects. So we've got... Oh, this is the side-by-side. That was the wrong screen. So there are more. There's an NTSC emulator. This one is crazy, okay? So this one aims to emulate like an actual NTSC broadcast signal. So right now it's just set to like neutral. There's kind of an effect, I think. If I turn it off, yeah. Like there's already like some color separation. You can definitely see it in my shirt. But then if we start changing the tuning, it starts tweaking the actual like signal strength to the extent that we can just totally like lose our signal. And what's amazing is it generates the snow the further you get away from it. I don't know how he did this. This feels like magic. I have wanted a TV snow generator for streams for a very long time. So this is incredible. So you can just apply like a little bit of it there. I'm gonna want it. I'm gonna do like 10. 8, not 80, just 8. But then you can tweak the settings from there. So we can add a whole bunch of noise. It just seems to be a snow generator, which isn't going to be great for Twitch, but you know I love. You've got the bands, and this is where it starts to get into glitch art territory with the modulation stuff. Like, I am so happy right now that I can do this in a plugin in OBS, that I have physical gear to do. We can change the number of bands so we can really start making it look like a tape. And then we got color bleed. So I definitely want a lot of that. We've got picture adjustment, so we can change brightness and saturation just like you would on a tube box. Now we're getting some magic going. Like, I am so happy. Just coming in, what shader is this? This is the new Retro Effects beta plugin from Finite Singularity. This is incredible. This is the best plugin for OBS that exists. Period. This is amazing. So someone in the chat just asked a minute ago, you can combine this with the Move plugin to move it dynamically too. So I don't think I have it installed, but there is one effect in this that will work with the Move plugin for like transitions. That's going to be amazing, that I will get to in just a minute. But someone in chat asked if you can emulate the tape wrinkle. Currently, no. I am putting this out there publicly, putting him on the spot for Finite Singularity. I guess I will repeat this when my ad break ends. I want that for this plugin. So the tape wrinkle is when like a whole bar moves up and down the screen. Well, mostly just down, as if you actually had a wrinkle in your tape. It's part of the... it's in the Red Giant Universe VHS emulation plugin, but absolutely, that is one of my favorite effects. Especially if you just do it real slow, just like with a real low frequency, and especially if it's like slightly randomized, just like every once in a while a little line moves down, like S tier. Okay, so we're not done with this plugin yet. Pull filters back up yet. Pull filters back up. There is the cathode boop. Boop, boop. We got to rename it. Cathode boop. Cathode boot. This is turning the TV off and on. He's got vertical collapse. I have a TV on the top of my CRT wall that permanently looks like this because it's suffering from vertical collapse. He's got this as a whole effect. As a CRT enthusiast, I have never been more like watch. Same thing. Come back. There we go. It doesn't do it. That one doesn't do it turning it back on. So that one you combine with the move plugin, and if you get like embarrassed in a game or you just want to do a dramatic exit or something, you could set up with the move plugin to hit one button and just boop you off the screen at a certain speed. Like, that would be freaking sick. And you do have full control over this, so like you've got thickness of the white line. I'm not sure what horizontal thickness does, honestly. No, I guess there's a stroke there as well. You got glow, so I definitely want that maxed out. Yes, that is freaking. You could simulate in real time that HBO intro before Game of Thrones, where it's like, and it has the HBO text, and then you've got full. I'm realizing you're not seeing it in the full view on the left, but you see it in the effect here. You've got full timing here, and like where it ends, all of that stuff. You got full control. So combine that with the move plugin, and you'd absolutely be able to do some crazy stuff here. I don't think I have move. I do have move. Let me put it this way. I don't know how to use move right now. They changed it. He changed it a while back, and I never got the hang of it again. At some point, I'll get it set back up. But then, like, you put the scan lines first. Like, any effects that you don't want to affect this, you put the cathode boop on the cathode boop. That's just what it is now. Put it at the end, and then it's combined in there. Like, oh my lord. It's incredible. And then, of course, as a final one, there is the Matrix Rain effect, where it puts you into the Matrix. And you can do custom character textures. You can make your own, which I think is going to be really powerful. You've got a couple different built-in options. You can do emojis, or just the default Matrix Rain. You can, like, zoom it in, make it real lo-fi, although you can't really see yourself at that point. Or, like, really small, so you can really see through the Matrix. Noise shift, that's fascinating. You can colorize it, which actually looks pretty cool. Change the text color and the background color. Like, that is beautiful. And you got full controls over that as well. So, if we were to build up my... okay. 100% my favorite OBS plugin that has ever been made in my entire life. For those who missed it, this is the beta retro effects plugin from the genius mind over at Finite Singularity. Posted a link. Working on allowing the user to change the RGB value of the black background so it can be transparent pixels. That would be incredible. So, Exceldro gave a move introduction in his stream. I will definitely have to watch it. So, absolutely my favorite plugin. But there's also those scripts I showed off from Umpuco. Called JPEG GPU and NTSC. These are a couple filters as well that can add some other degradation to your video feed. So the first one is JPEG GPU, which adds basically posterization, but it's meant to be like JPEG compression. So it's posterization with like a compression emulator. So you can simulate really bad JPEGs, which is pretty cool. You can combine with some stuff. And then NTSC FX doesn't do anything when your video isn't scaled, but if you scale it down to 480, it disappears. Oh, well then, yeah, you scale it back up. Then you start to get some of those same effects that we saw before with regards to like the rainbowing and stuff like that. However, I think most of this is made redundant for the NTSC one by the retro effects from finite singularity. But I want to show you what the ultimate form of this can look like, okay? I want to build with you what I think is the ultimate retro webcam. So I'm going to delete all of these. We are going to start from absolute scratch. So the first step I'm going to do is scale down my video using area for sharpest pixels to 640 by 480. And that is going to stretch the aspect ratio to square. But that's fine because we will stretch it back out. I am going to go ahead and slap on that stretch back out at the end so that we can continue to see the results side by side here. So back to 4K. I use area, and I'm just going to set it up here to 4K. So I'm going to rename this one to 480p. So in between these two scales, you notice there might be some like a little bit of pixelation, but it doesn't look very different right now because all we did was just shrink it down and back up. But in between these two, we can start adding some effects. So the first effect I want to do is with retro effects. I want to interlace my video, but I'm interlacing it at 480. So we are now going to make it 480i. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker, a little bit thinner. So now we have 480i video scaled back up to 4K, not deinterlaced. So then from there, we are once again going to add retro effects. I'm going to boop this back up, and we are going to add the NTSC filter. Now this is looking a lot more drastic than it did before. If I turn off all the scaling, this is what the NTSC filter looks normally. We already demoed it. But if you scale your video down to 480 before you apply the effect, it's way more drastic and realistic. So that is my hot tip number one. Scale your video down before applying the retro effects, because you get a whole lot more. Now, I would love, as a feature request to Finite, if it's possible and wouldn't add too much overhead or whatever, for there to just be an option in every single one of these filters to pre-scale to 480 and then scale back up just built into the filter, so I don't have to stack it this way, but I still want the ability to stack it if I want, so I can combine filters. Just as a note. Maybe it's not worth it because I can stack it. But you can see here the difference in scaling, pre-scaling versus not is drastic. So now we can start playing with the tuning. Again, we're going to be subtle with the NTSC one. We're going to add some noise. But we're going to be kind of subtle with it. Maybe we'll make smaller bands, but we'll add more of them. They start to kind of phase out after a certain point. Oh, that was only 2? Lol. You can see the noise relationship starts to change a little bit. It's a little too noisy. I'm going to turn noise back down. So that's looking good. We'll add bleed. A little bit there. Crank up saturation a bit. There we go. So yeah, the tape wrinkle and the tracking effects are high on my request list with Finite. They are not available just yet. So that's looking pretty good on its own. Now we add in the scan lines. So user-defined shader. There's a bunch of shaders already built into the user-defined shader plugin from Exceldro, which is just his port of it. But he also did build a VCR shader, VHS shader for me, if you wanted to emulate that. So we could play with that. Now, it gets super funky, like super quickly, so you've got to be very gentle with it. But that can start to emulate some of the tracking stuff in the meantime. I think I'm going to like how Finite implements this stuff better than the plugin, but we can get some of that going. Like I said, it is very aggressive. Maybe if we turn down the alpha, that's not doing anything at all. Just like a little bit. And I think we put that before the other effects. Well, after interlacing, but before that. And so this is not scan lines. This is VCR. And then after retro effects, again, user-defined shader. This one will be scan lines. And actually, I'm gonna mute that one. There's a VCR and a VHS one in the user-defined shader. So that was VHS. VCR. Okay, so this is the VCR shader, which gets some of that frame jitter kind of stuff. But like I said, these are all mega aggressive up front. Yeah, I can't get rid of the line. I don't like it. So we're going to stick with that one to get the little scroll. And then again, we'll get that scan lines. I do like the scan line filter. And they have some RGB splits and things like that. So again, we want to change the angle to 90 degrees. I don't know why it defaults to 45. We want to animate them. We want to slow that down a lot. And they are super big right now. So now we need to change the size of them. I believe it's period. There we go. That's a little bit more how we want. We could also add this after the scale up, but this is fine. So floor changes like the opacity. We just want a little bit of subtleness there, but enough to show up on Twitch. And now, again, the wrinkle effect here with the shader. What's the 480p filter called again? That is just the scaling aspect ratio filter built into OBS. You don't need a plugin for it. Scaling, oh, you can't really see that. Scoop. Scaling aspect ratio. You can scale to whatever resolution you want here. So we've got interlacing to fit within the scan lines, which is ironically a little masked by the scan lines, but that's like part of the effect, right? So scale to 480, interlace, that VCR wrinkle, which I'm going to turn off. I'm not a huge fan of it right now. The NTSC, and then a little bit of scan lines over top, which I would still like to hide a little bit better. But if you don't want that scan line shader, or shaders are too hard to run for you, you can do another retro effects, and this is the CRT emulation one. And we can do CRT. Then we have the different layouts. And again, at 480p, this looks really crazy. I love it. Turn down the intensity. I want that one. Bloom size on here, you're going to want to lower this because it's starting to get really overexposed. Now that's looking like a real CRT. The moire pattern on the chair. Yeah. All right. So from there, so this is the side-by-side. The 4K camera zoomed in a little bit versus the effects. Already looking pretty wild. From there, then we can start doing stuff like putting it in a CRT frame, which again, I will pack up a whole CRT VHS kind of rescue, I just read that in the chat, graphics pack and stuff soon on the shop, so keep an eye out for that. But we can add in some other elements. So I've packaged up some like bad tracking overlays and noise patterns and stuff. So if I drag on the media source, transform, fit to screen, scale filtering, area, blending mode, screen. And then if we add a filter for opacity and just turn it down a bit. Very subtly, we can get some of those little VHS tracking lines added in, which theoretically could be added in the plugin if Finite wants to, like to generate these kinds of things. Oh, crap. There is sound in there. I am so sorry. I knew that and then forgot. This would be sick with the starting soon screen with a different camera angle. Yes, exactly. And then, of course, you can add text in here if you want. So we can add... This is not the correct font. I apparently don't have the VCR font on here, but... You know. You get that kind of action going. And then get some, like, time code stuff, maybe? Goofy little text elements like that. Or I have some overlays. I go back into my... I don't know how well these will play in OBS. I'll go to... Where's my video packages? Get some like actual VCR timecode action. In the actual analog process, where would those characters come in? After NTSC, before scanline CRT? Yeah, so they would be generated by the VCR or television or whatever. So they would not have that initial degradation of whatever video camera. Well, but they would still have a little bit of it from... Okay, so, yeah. So they're generated by the VCR or TV or whatever. So if you're capturing it, it would still have a little bit of that NTSC because you're capturing over composite. But assuming that you're just playing it on a TV, it wouldn't have those degradations because it's part of the TV. So it would have the CRT mask applied to it because it's displayed on the TV, and then scan lines, but it wouldn't have the signal degradation of the NTSC signal because it would be generated by a local source. But if it's coming from a VCR, you're connecting it through composite. So it would still have some degradation. If you did some NTSC on it, it would be super subtle compared to what it would be on like the camera or the game footage or whatever by comparison. Adding some WoW and Flutter to the audio might work too. Well, I do have a dial-up generator effect, but I don't have that. I've tried that, like, and we could do like an EQ that just like chops off the high and low or something like that. But anytime I've tried to do the actual like effects, people complain. People complain a lot. And actually, right now I'm running audio through the VCR. It's not on a tape, obviously, but if I go over here and then I mute my... Hello. 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 I don't know if you're hearing it. It's coming through the VCR, but it's like looping. Let me turn off monitoring. Hold on. I don't know why a monitor was on. Alright. Hello! Oh, it's still so quiet. Hello! 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 Hello? Hello? It's just like locked to being quiet. I don't know. Super weird. Anyway. So now we've built up that. I also have some other noise patterns for like VHS stuff. Like we could do some like super overkill ones. really wanted some noise. That kind of stuff. It's not transparent. I'm just using the blending modes in OBS. You don't need transparency. Transparency is very hard to decode in OBS. So it's better to just do stuff with like a black background and then use screen or something like that. So that's the gist of the Retro Effects plugin and the others that like you can use for this. They're pretty crazy. Like I said, my big recommendation is to scale down before you apply these kinds of effects. Theoretically, it should make it easier on your GPU to apply the effects, because assuming the chain is correct, and I don't know that it is, you're running the effects at a lower resolution, so it should be lighter. But I don't know if it actually works that way in OBS. But that's the flow to like really get it crazy. Like you don't even need the CRT one changes it a lot. Like it's authentic. It definitely looks like it looks over here. But like if you want to see more of the details of the effect, I definitely like this one as well. Especially combined with the other overlays. Like that's pretty neat. I would still want some sort of scan line on here. And I have those kinds of stuff too. Like I could do, hold on. Screen, I've got a little bit of analog snow as well as, oh, there's no overlay blending mode, so I can't use that scan line. I don't know why OBS doesn't have the overlay blending mode. It's really annoying. But I do have this from my VHS texture pack I released on my shop. And just crank down the opacity a bit. Static scan lines, which is fine. Yes, it will make it less GPU intensive significantly. Well then, yeah, 100%. Not only do the effects look better, but it will perform better. How do we install this to our OBS? I have been linking it in chat. You just copy the files or run the installer, like any other plugin. Yeah, so since people are asking, again, the chain of filters here is first I scaled down my webcam. I nested it, so I have my normal webcam nest and then the effects one, so that I'm not affecting my webcam everywhere. I scaled it down to 640 by 480, or I could do 720 by 480. Either one is fine. Which is stretching the aspect ratio, but that's fine. I'm using area, so we have the sharpest like scale. And then start applying the effects. So we've got the Retro Effects Interlace and the Retro Effects NTSC. And this provides a better look. And then at the end of that, I applied the scaling aspect ratio filter again to scale it back up to 4K, which is what it was at. So that everything is put back in its place. Because otherwise, sizing it up on stream is going to be kind of annoying. There's also this pixel art one. I don't remember if that was finite or not. That's a lot of fun. Kind of like an in-between of the JPEG GPU and the posterizing effect. Words. Finite also has a noise generating filter and a blur filter that are both really great now. And of course you can combine it with some of the other fun effects from the past couple years, like the recursion effect from Excel, but you need alpha for that, like green screen or whatever, to really work. Noise displacement. Pop that bad boy up here. NTSC. We got smoke. We can make our stuff wobble. We can make ourselves geometric. And you can combine all this with the what am I trying to say? With the Move plugin. You can do some cool stuff with the noise displacement map. That is trippy as hell. Yeah, seeing all these effects, I am very excited to see what Finite does with, like, actual glitch arty kind of stuff. With the proper settings, I bet you could use noise displace to get a good VCR wave effect. That's what I was thinking. That is exactly what I was thinking. I'm not pixel art, but you can do similar effect with composite blur. Okay, I don't know where that one came from. I just transitioned to using my M1 Mac Mini as a streaming PC, so I'm kind of sad I can't use this, but I will definitely be saving in my brain bank for later. Yeah, plugins on Mac are just a hard spot to be in. Although there is a Mac wait, you can use it. There's a Mac installer. Generally speaking, plugins on Mac are not a good time, but this one specifically supports Mac. It supports Mac, you're good. I was like, I thought this was developed for multiple operating systems, but I didn't remember. Alright, I have to BRB for just a second. We still have an hour left in this thing, and I've already covered most of what I want to talk about, but get your questions ready, and we will dive into some stuff, because we can keep experimenting. There is a lot we can do there. But I need to BRB for just one moment. Give me just one more minute. My kiddo is apparently very not happy that I just ran in the house and ran back, so I will be right back. Super, super quick. I am so sorry. Kiddo does not like when I have to run off to work. Okay. My kid really wanted me to change his batteries on this thing, and was very bummed that I was just running out and not doing that. So I had to go get it, so he knew it was out here, so I could change the batteries. Did you bring enough food for the rest of the class? Well, I did, but he also saw that and demanded that that get taken back in the house, so I had my one piece. All right, let me catch up on chat. How are y'all doing? Looks like we're getting some displacement map integration with the plugin. That's exciting. We all know who runs the house. Absolutely. What's up, Fix It? The onslaught of work cases never ends. So that was the gist of what I had planned to show. I guess I didn't expect to run through it so quickly, but I can show you some of the other stuff, like, because right now I have virtual camera just set to send my webcam, but like, I can send any scene. So, for example,